Hi, welcome back. I'm Erick Lowe, third champion of the Shooter's Bout. I'm here today interviewing Ben Lee, the current reigning champion of the bout. So let's just jump in here. During your run, why do you think so many people hated you so much and just wanted you to lose?
So I feel like a lot of the hatred was coming from the number of contestants that were present in my year. I might be forgetting a few, but we had Tra Tran, Stephanie Jensen.
Lauren Jefferson?
Oh, yikes. See, and I feel like that plays right into why my hatred, the obvious hatred that was there for me. I think it really comes down to I knew I was the winner, and everyone else knew I was the winner, and they didn't want to admit that before the end.
Yeah, I think a lot of it also has to do with your playing style. You've sort of been the favorite who's always just gone through loopholes to just sort of really take advantage of the system. And I'm speaking specifically about how you've been widely noted as a sly player, perhaps even the dirtiest of all champions. Regarding your Shooters attendance, you've earned dorm scorn by attending Shooters multiple nights, but only attending the establishment for 5 minutes. In fact, leading the bout committee to introduce a rule in your legacy, properly named the Ban Lowe Amendment. The law states that each contender must attend Shooters for at least half an hour or until closing for the attendance to count. And speaking about that, are you embarrassed by such a tainted legacy or proud of your newfound immortality?
I was able to exploit the system and the rules. Loopholes exist for a reason, and if people don't exploit them and expose them for what they are, they'll never be closed. And so I think I really stood up for the rights of, and in the spirit of the Shooter's Belt, I had to make that move in order to make the whole idea of the belts stand
You're
better.
going to do great on Wall Street. So let's talk about the actual process of winning. You've historically, throughout your entire life, you've had a lot of good tries, but have never really quite gotten the big one. You've advanced to multiple final intern interviewing rounds, but didn't get the job. You advanced to the National High School Swing Dance Competition, but you messed up on the final dance, sinking your team to 5th place out of only 6 teams. How does it feel to finally be a champion?
It feels pretty damn good. Not gonna lie. I think the biggest moment from there that really cuts the deepest is definitely that swing team moment. I remember sitting on the dance floor looking up at the spotlights, star-studded celebrity audience, and just dropping my partner on the floor and watching her head crack against the hardwood floor. It was really one of my biggest failures. And having this moment is really just something to turn the whole experience around.
And let me remind our audience that replay of Ben messing up is on the Shooter's Bout blog. You can check it out at www.wix.com/shootersbout. So let's move on to a little bit of your personal life. There's been a lot of gossip going around. So as I'm sure you're aware, there's been quite this large rumor regarding you butt chugging. One group says it was orange juice because you were afraid of getting sick during your run, while the other claims it was a simple small house mouse. Could you shed some light on the situation?
So, I think there's a big misconception here that the butt chugging occurred during my run for the Shooter's Belt, which is false. It occurred the last week of Myrtle, during Myrtle, when I was in a high state of intoxication, but wanted to go that extra mile and wasn't sure my stomach could take it.
So
And
was it
so
the
it
OJ or
was
the mouse?
A shot of whiskey.
With no mouse or
No
OJ?
mouse or orange juice
Interesting.
was introduced into my rectum.
Let's talk about some adversity you faced. During your run, your opponents started calling you Ben Loser. You, however, embraced the name, shortening it to Ben Lou, and making it your Facebook name. Now that you've silenced the haters, do you plan on returning to Ben Lee, or perhaps going back to the original Ben Loser, or just to spite them?
I'm thinking about the band Loser quite seriously. However, I have a close personal friend who has a very deep personal connection to the Lou name, and I feel like I need to stand in solidarity with her and maintain that for the time being. We're also thinking about adding some other members to the Lou clan, and in that way, advancing the cause for losers everywhere.
Oh, that's a good thing to do. I really want to thank you for your you're doing pretty well at this interview. I assume you've had lots of practice at those second rounds.
Too much.
So let's talk a little bit on your competition. Who was more pathetic in their attempt? Tran, Lauren Jefferson, or Stephanie Jin?
It really came down to Stephanie. While I love her as a deep and beautiful person, one thing Stephanie lacked was the conviction and the need for that belt. And without that need, you're not going to get through the dark times that are inevitable. Tran maintained the need for the belts even through 104, and only the 105-degree fever managed to break her fervor.
Hate to see that happen. Well, now that you are the champion of the bout, what are your future plans? Do you consider mentoring the next young generation, or do you just plan on wearing your belt in your closet and never bringing it out into the light of day?
I've had a lot of experience of wearing a belt in a closet, and I think that the best move is going to be to carry that forward and help Human, our current contender, make sure he gets to the final belt, and then look for future contenders to raise them up in the spirit of the shooter's belt.
That's great to hear. All right, well, that wraps this up. I'd like to thank everyone in the audience and to thank Ben Lee for coming out here. Good night.
Yeah.